super easy technique to help us explore more of the fretboard as we play over the 4 chord. Hello, welcome back to the channel on our continuing voyage to become better blues players. My name is Mark, and in this lesson we're going to look at spicing up what we play over the 4 chord. We're in a 12-bar blues, we're in the key of G, so we're talking about when we play over the C7 chord. What we're going to do is we're going to be playing in what we call box position 4. So, quick recap, box position 1 sits right under this G7 chord here, and it goes like this. And if you've been following my lessons recently, you have loads of licks to play in that little space. Then we have box position 2, which is here. Box position 4 is actually right up here on the 12th fret. So the way we can find that is we're in the key of G, we find a G on our G string, so that gives us the 12th fret, and we play this little shape. Now don't worry, we're going to come back at the end of the video and I'll go through all the shapes again nice and slow and teach you all the theory. But the way the lesson's going to work, what we're going to do is we're going to use that box position 4 just over the C7 chord, and the rest of the time we're just going to be playing in box 1 and 2. So to hear what that sounds like in context, here's an example where I do exactly that, and then I'll come back on the other side, I'll show you the licks and everything nice and slowly, and then we'll talk about the theory about how we apply this to our own improvisations. So here's the example with tab on screen for us to learn today. That was the example then. What we'll do now is we will pull those licks apart and go through them nice and slowly one by one. But before we do, a little bit of housekeeping. There is free tab associated with today's lesson. If you would like a copy of the tab, you don't just get today's lesson, you get the 2 preceding lessons as well. So the tab for all 3 lessons in one PDF, and you can have that completely free. Just send me an email. My details are in the description below. Ask for super easy slow blues. Next time I'm online, I'll simply reply. You're not signing up for anything. You're just getting a free copy of the tab. Okay, and the tab is paid for by the Patreon supporters, so a big thank you to them. And for that, they get extra lessons and things over on Patreon. If you're interested in checking out more of my lessons, then go have a look at Patreon. Again, links in the description below. Right, so with that out the way, let's go through the licks and start pulling this apart. So we're in the key of G. We're playing a 12-bar blues, so our chords are G, C, and D. So we start over a G chord, and lick 1 goes like this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3. Okay, lick 2. We're moving over to the C7 chord, so we're going to come right up here and play in box position 4. So that goes like this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3. Okay, lick 3. This is going to take us back to the G7, and it's going to be like this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, nice and slow. This lick, if you followed lessons 1 and 2 in this series, you'll be well familiar with this lick. We've used this one quite a lot. What we're doing is we're going all the way up and then down and then off on the G string to the D string and ending with the hammer on. Okay, so far we've played lick 1 using box position 1, sliding into box position 2. Then lick 2, which was over the C7 chord, we've come right up here to box 4. Then we've gone back to box position 1 for lick 3 that was. Now we're going to play lick 4. Lick 4 is the last one on the G7 before we move to the C7 again. So we're actually going to play box position 2. Okay, so that's here with our root note here. So lick 4 goes like this, up to speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and I'll do it nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the tricky thing about this lick, and I don't mind saying that this is kind of Albert King inspired, is the bend, the second bend with our index finger. So the first one should be relatively easy because we bend with our middle finger, but we also use the 2 fingers behind it to also push the string. But then when we bend this note here, that's tricky because we're doing it all just with 1 finger. It might be easier for you if you only bend it a little bit rather than the whole amount. Or don't even bend it at all if it's too difficult. So see how you get on with that. It is a kind of, that's something Albert King did. He used super light gauge strings, so bending was a lot easier for him. I'm using 10, so it's a little tricky. Stevie Ray did this and he was using like 12s or 14s or something insane. Anyway, that's the last lick for now, using box position 2 over the G7 chord, because now we're coming up to the C7 chord. The lick is actually going to start in the preceding bar, so immediately after that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4-ander, and we play on the 4-ander, and it goes like this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I'll do it nice and slow. Okay, so the tricky thing here is this, we've got this bend here. So we're bending it, and then as it's bent, we're holding and using our little finger underneath to grab the top E string. If that's a bit too tricky, you might do it without grabbing the top E string. Something like that. Anyway, it's there. It's a little bit more of a tricky lick if you're an absolute beginner. If you've been playing my lessons for a while, you've probably got that one down because I use that lick all the time. Okay, so that was lick, what was that? That was lick 5, that was over the C7 chord, so we're in box position 4. Lick 6 is staying over the C7, so we're staying in box position 4, and it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And nice and slow. And again, even slower. Okay, so then we're up to lick 7. Lick 7 is going to bring us back to the G7 chord. It comes in just before the chord change. It's very similar to lick 3. It goes like this. 1, 2, 3. Actually, I don't do the double hit on the last note. Okay, and I'll do it nice and slow. So it's exactly the same as lick 3, except with lick 3 we ended with this note up here. This time we're ending with this little tag here. And again, that last little piece on those low strings, I'll probably play that a little quieter than the rest. Okay, lick 8. Now we are, where are we? We are still over the G7 chord, and we're going to play box position 2, and it's going to go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and slow. Okay, so lick 9 now. Lick 9 is going to bring us into the D7 chord. So think of this D7 chord here, or a D chord if it's not a D7, and it's got that note there, and that's a D, and that's the note we're going to be targeting. So D7 chord, we're going to target a D note. That's kind of how this thing works. Right, so it goes like this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I'll do it nice and slow. So it comes in on the 4-ander of the preceding bar. So I'll actually count it in this time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now lick 10. We're coming over the C7 chord. So our chord progression's gone D7 to C7. So we're going to play over the C7 chord, and what we're doing in this lesson, when we're playing C7, we're coming all the way up here to box position 4. So it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And nice and slow. Okay, I'm going to play lick, where are we? Lick 9 and lick 10 together, one after the other, so you can kind of hear them in context. They're going to go over this D7 chord here to this C7 chord here. And it's going to go like this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that brings us into lick 11, which is going to bring us back to our G7 chord. So we're coming back down here to box position 1, and we're going to play this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the first part is the same as the start of lick 3, and what was it? Lick 7. That thing there. But then we're going to very quickly add on this little tag on the end. That there. Put them together. Now, if that is a little bit too quick for you to get from that part there up to this part here, you don't have to play that last piece. You can just do the first part and then hold it. I like that little tag though. Because we're ending on that note there. And that's kind of a tense note to end on when we're playing a G7. It kind of tells our ear, hang on, we're going to move somewhere, we're not going to stay on this chord. Because what we're actually going to do is we're going to come back up to the D7. And we're going to target this D note here. And so the lick goes like this. This is lick 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's actually in two parts. It's the D7, back to the G7. So it's got that little piece on the end that we've been playing as, what was it, lick 3, lick 7, what was that, lick 11, they're kind of all in there. It's just like a nice little theme to keep coming back to whenever we're going, to tell the listener we're going back to the G7 chord. Okay, one more time, lick 12, nice and slow, here we go. Okay, so that was the whole solo. What we'll do now is quickly jump into the theory and show you the licks and the scales. Scales rather than licks. So, box position 1, we've covered this in the last couple of lessons. It's this one here, find our G7 chord, and then play. But playing a scale like that kind of sounds boring, so we make those licks. And we do those things, and they're just straight out of that box. So you can make licks, and what you'll notice, I've said this on so many of my videos, we're in the key of G7. We're playing licks in box position 1. We're targeting a G note, it's that one there. And if you see parts 1 and 2 of this video, of this series, there's loads of licks that use box position 1. We've also got box position 2, but just like previous video, we're not using the whole box, we're just using this piece here. And this time, our root note is here. So that's one we're going to target. So you can put those box 1 and 2 together. And you get some really cool licks. Loads of classic blues songs use box position 1 and box position 2. What we're doing in this lesson though is we're also bringing in box position 4. And again, we're not using the whole of box position 4, we're just using this piece here. And this time our root note is here. So our root note actually lands on our middle finger. That note there, that one's great to bend. But always come back and kind of resolve to this note here. So, loads of licks we can get out of box position 4. So there's loads of kind of things you can do with that. I've done a whole series called The Blues in 5 Boxes where I literally teach how to play the blues in all 5 of the boxes. In this particular series, we're just looking at box 1, 2 and 4 now. But if you want to explore the whole of all 5 boxes and how to navigate a 12-bar blues using all 5 boxes, I've got a great series on that. Okay, so that's basically like the theory. Over the G7 chord, we use in box 1 and box 2. But then when we go up to the C7 chord, we're using box 4. May have hit a dumb note in there, but never mind. So that's what we're doing over the C7 chord. So the point of today's lesson was we're expanding more of the fretboard. We're playing down here, we're playing up there. And when we go to that C7 chord, it gives us something kind of quite distinctive to play. The licks that we're going to pull out of box position 4, they're going to sound a little different than the ones we get in box position 1 and 2, even though it's, when you analyze it, it's still just the same 5 notes. What's that? That's a G, a B flat, a C, a D, and an F. And if we play them up here, that's a G, a B flat, a C, a D, and an F. It's still the same notes, but there's something about playing licks here that sound a little different than when we play them down here. And so what it means is that when we hit that C7 chord, we jump around, it kind of makes it just sound a little more interesting, spices things up without changing things too dramatically. Anyway, that's the point of this lesson. I hope you've enjoyed it. Big thank you to the Patreon supporters who make all of this possible. They pay for the lights and the cameras, all the tab and everything else accompanying these lessons, and for that they get things like files for Guitar Pro, MP3 of the backing track, and extra lessons as well. If you're interested in those things, go check it out over on Patreon. Link in the description below. I'm going to leave you now with the names of the Patreon supporters to say thank you to them, and make a special deal of those that are new this month. So big thanks to everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the series. If you'd like more in this series, let me know. Other than that, take care. I'll see you next time.